Cindrigo is developing clean baseload energy solutions across Europe and aiming to build a broad portfolio of operational renewable energy assets in multiple markets. It has listed on the main board of the London Stock Exchange and raised £2 million. I'm delighted to be joined by the Chief Executive, Lars Guldstrand. So Lars, what is baseload energy and what are the solutions that you've created?
Baseload energy is, as in all energy net, there is a base constant need, which is then called base load. And then under certain periods of the day where you have high capacity need and others, then you often talk about peak load. And base load is important both for the grid to have a stability in the operation, but it's also the one that you have to serve 24/7, 365 days a year.
So give me an indication about the size of the market. What is the market demand for stable, sustainable baseload energy?
But that's huge if you look at it from a global perspective. So the question is then, in our view, we're focusing on markets that has a very strong need for clean baseload production. Germany is one of those markets where they today have a very large part of their baseload in fossil, coal, gas, and others, and also limited nuclear as well. So there is a very high need for clean new baseload. So that's one of our focus areas. I know the German government has put a target of 10 terawatt geothermal clean baseload for the coming 5 years. And you see this in many markets. In our view, it's related to geothermal, i.e. drilling deep, get hot water, brine, lithium, and then produce power, heat, and lithium for the battery industry.
Okay, so talk to me about what you've got in your portfolio already and how they are performing operationally and financially, or how you hope they will perform.
No, I would say two main assets currently, one in Finland and projects in Germany. Finland is a ready-built large energy plant that we plan to start operation around year end. And that will produce some 110 megawatt of heat and electricity, heat for the local industry and power for the grid in Finland through Nord Pool. In Germany, it's earlier development projects in geothermal. It's 3 license areas in the Upper Rhine Valley, where we then will resources indicate 400 megawatt of energy, and we're targeting a development plan for 300 megawatt for heat, electricity, and lithium production.
So at the most fundamental level, what is the financial model based on? How are you going to make your money?
I would say primarily if you look at the geothermal, it is that it's equal revenue-wise, I would say, of the district heating and the heat sold to the process industry and to the power sold to the German grid. And then there is also a large portion on the lithium extraction. So if we produce on each well, where we plan some 10 different units in Germany, we will produce 30 megawatt heat, 5-6 megawatt power, and then some 500 ton of lithium. And on the heat, we'll have some 40 to 60 euro per megawatt hours. On the electricity, we will have 250 euro per megawatt hour. And that's because the German government strongly support this in the need for the base load. So we'll have 20-year secured agreements for 250 megawatt, which is pretty much 3-4 times ordinary market price because the strong need. Finland, though, is slightly different, where to us it's, I would say, more the service to generate immediate cash flow as a strong support for the German development, which is the large development project that we have. So in Finland's case, we have more of a market price on the electricity, and we have around 70 euro per megawatt hour, 60 to 70 euro megawatt hour on the heat delivered.
So how supportive are the governments in Finland and Germany? Are any grants available for you?
Finland is more of an, let's say, ordinary business, but with strong partners into it. Germany is extremely supportive from the government. We are both getting grants and subsidies from the German government. So up to 40% of our total capex, government may reimburse in a subsidy when we start each plant. And then, as I mentioned, on the electricity tariffs, we have an extreme strong premium on that for a 20-year government contracts into it.
So you have the assets in Finland and Germany. Which other locations need your solutions? Who else are you in conversation with?
Right now, focus on geothermal is Germany. Finland is more on waste incineration, where we incinerate forestry wood waste to produce the energy. In Germany, it is geothermal. And the current licenses we have, 125 square kilometer or 12,500 hectares, have a very strong resource potential. Why I would say that you have a development project for coming 5, 6 years just to leverage what we have. Of course, we are looking into other opportunities in Germany and in other parts of Europe as well. But short term, it is to get the German assets to perform and develop.
So this is the first time I've had the pleasure of speaking to you, Lars, and this is probably the most difficult question because I'm going to ask about the personalities involved in the project. So who is the team that is steering Cindrigo?
Mm. Board, I would say we have I honestly would say I'm proud about a very solid, strong board with a combination of understanding both on the political situation, the energy situation, of course, meeting all regulatory requirements, and also, I would say, the new technology development on it, and also, I would say, a solid experience of international listed company experiences. The operating team have a solid background, both understanding in the waste energy business. There have been many years in this, in particular in Finland. And then on the broader play, we have our team have been involved in building plenty of geothermal plants and also a lot into the drilling capacity going back. So yes, there is a solid both operating track record and an oversight, I would say, with strong people.
And are any of those people familiar with the London capital raising markets? I'm just wondering why list now and why London?
Why now? It's very simple. We are now in the, as I said, I just starting Finland. We are now in the development phase of Germany, and we plan then coming year to go into the full scale in the build up and then over years. So having London listing as on the main board in the equity shares commercial segment also is that it's more of a quality stamp on the company combined with a hopefully strong cash flow out of Finland that will support the funding for the German development. Why London? It came originally out of that we started our projects also focused a lot into waste energy, and we had a quite advanced project there, and we are ready to list actually on the Canadian market when we were approached by a of a London company listed on London to do a reverse takeover, which we then executed on. Unfortunately, then we ran into a situation given the war in Ukraine, and Ukraine was our target market. So pretty much our business collapsed due to that. So we then had to rebuild and continue from that platform we then had in London. So it was quite obvious to use London. And we now, for some 2 years' time, have built up to have this very strong, solid platform now for the continued expansion going forward.
Now you've raised £2 million at your listing. How will the funds be used?
That 2 million pounds, if I could be a bit loose on it, it's more to validate that the case is there going forward. They will not make a huge change to what we're doing. The solid cash flow of Finland, the solid attractiveness on the market, and also in Germany, where government are supporting also funding, and they are also ensuring all drill risk and so on. It's a very attractive on the financial market. So our main financing going forward will be ordinary debt financing. These 2 millions, some is of course to pay for the listing costs and some ordinary working capital, and the bulk of it would go to the development, pre-development in the German projects. All the others are already paid for and ready to go.
Okay, just 2 more questions, please, Lars. And now that you've listed, what does your shareholder register look like in terms of cornerstone investors and new investors?
Yeah, our cornerstone investor is a Swedish, very successful family office, the Danir Group, who has been the cornerstone up till today, I would say. And otherwise, it's a relatively broad base, I would say, of some thousand shareholders there. So the real cornerstone, I would say, is Danir, and otherwise a broad base of investors and shareholders.
Okay, so finally, what's likely to be the first material post-IPO bit of news that investors can expect?
The most material is the start of the Finland operation, that in the final phase, and we are waiting for the off-taker of our heat produced that are in the beginning of building their plant. And as soon as that's financed and ready, we are ready. We have made all our work. The plant is ready built. It's a well-functioning, high-quality plant in Finland and have operated before. So we're just waiting to have the off-taker of the heat. And that's the most material that will happen short term.
Thank you very much, Lars Guldstrand, Chief Executive of Cindrigo. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.